intermission. You'll find our snack bar chock full of good things to eat and drink. Tasty, tempting hot dogs, thirst-quenching soft drinks, fresh, crunchy popcorn, a complete assortment of delicious candy, and a full line of cigarettes. You've plenty of time, so visit the snack bar now. A tasty treat will double your enjoyment of the show. For your convenience, we shall keep you informed of the remaining intermission time, 3 minutes before the next show starts.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
The next show will start in 2 minutes.
Yes, Toddy, the chocolate malt in a can.
It's so good hot. It's so good cold.
It hits the spot with young and old.
Yes, toddy pleases everybody. Delicious chocolate malted toddy, made with rich, real milk, not powdered milk.
So come and get it, everybody. It's time to drink your chocolate toddy.
Come on, everybody, here we go. Yeah, like Peter Pan says, and it's showtime. I am sitting in front of Georgie's Alibi here in Wilton. I'm not really. It's just on the screen, but it looks like I could be, but nobody's moving behind me. And why am I sitting in front of Georgie's Alibi? Because the people that I have on the show tonight, well, you know what? They've got something, and they've got something about Georgie's Alibi that ties them together, and it's the only background I had that I could think of that I wanted to use, so I used that. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm excited to have on my friends. Everybody I have on, thank God, is a friend, but these two guys I've known for a long time, and I've been wanting to do this particular show for quite some time. So, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, as they say, ladies and gentlemen, here are Michael Walters and Doug Michael Lucas, all the way from down south there. Where would he call you guys from? Fort Lauderdale, is it? Is
Fort Lauderdale, that's right.
I have
Hello,
no
Joe.
voice for you guys because I am Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yes. I don't understand why that background is still up. Yes, I do, because I didn't take it out. That's why.
Can you hear us now?
I guess that doesn't get that back.
Joe?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, very good.
Now,
hello.
Didn't realize I could do it. Hi, how are you, boys?
We are wonderful. How are you, Joe?
That's not funny. I'm terrific. Now I've got the ticker still going that this is who it is. We've got a big 5 people in the house. Maybe
everybody.
We can follow that up. Now, are you guys messing with me with the voices here?
No.
Or is something weird happening?
Something is
weird
wrong.
is happening.
It's popping in and out, strangely enough. I'm going to go in the magic shop here for a little while. There we go. All right.
I'm going to refresh this just to...
I don't know if that's any better. And I see what you're doing. Okay. Doug is an internet guru, and he knows exactly how to do all of this crap that I don't know how to do. Here they come. They're almost back. We'll add them in. There they are.
Hello.
Sorry,
again.
we were refreshing.
Is that better?
That's much better. Yes, indeed.
Okay, I hope it stays
Okay.
that way. We're on an Ethernet connection, so it should be pretty good. I don't know what the problem would be.
Yeah, well, these things are what they are. You know what I'm saying? They are what they are. So, Gentlemen, this is exciting because we're up to 10. Oh my goodness.
10 people. Oh my
Give the
God.
people what they want, and they come in. Folks, Doug Michael Lucas, right here, over there, he's waving, and that's Michael Walters right there. Now, I have known Michael for, oh boy, a long time.
22 years.
20? Really? Wow. 22 years. And I've known Doug for a smidgen of that, really.
11 years, so half as long.
Half as long. Doug came into Michael's life and my life much at the same time, quite frankly.
That's right.
Enough.
Michael had just moved down from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale.
That is true.
And you were one of his very best friends in Orlando, so of course you were part of the family when I moved in with Michael.
Yeah, well, the scrutiny, I'll tell you, the scrutiny with which you were observed, Mr. Lucas, is unparalleled.
I can ace any job interview. I was not worried.
I was watching you, finding out who you were and all that sort of thing. For those of you wondering, behind me, that background is the magic shop at Tokyo Disneyland.
And for those of you wondering what's behind us, this is Santa's workshop.
That's right. You can see.
You know what?
Santa's suit resting just there.
Let's, since we're talking about that, let's do just that. Let's talk about that. We've got Chuck Hurt Snook.
Hello, Chuck.
Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. He's a friend of ours.
I can ask you guys because you understand. Can you see the comments section or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
We sure can.
For the most part.
Now, for your future guests, we had to click. There's either private chat or comments is our options, and we clicked comments so we could see what the public is saying to us as opposed to what you were typing to us pre-show.
It's not all so easy that people can do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. You know, I'm in the oldest age group who understands these things. I'm a millennial of 30 years.
Indeed.
And, so I'm in the older group of millennials, and
how old are you?
Easy for me. I'm 31 now. I'll be 32.
Well, okay.
I'll be 32 at the end of the year.
My goodness. As you know, I just turned 59.
You did?
Yes, I did.
10 years away from a good time.
At least that. So we are talking. Let's talk just a bit about Santa. Now, Michael, you stopped doing Santa for quite some time. And would you tell us why you stopped?
I'm a softie. I really am. And I can't stand kids to be upset around me because I get upset. And I went and did a party at someone's home, or not a party, a private event with a father and his two kids. And one of the little girl came up to me, and what she wanted for Christmas was for her mommy and daddy to get back together. And I left that house. I'm surprised I didn't wreck the car because tears were just streaming down my face. And I've had that happen, and I've also done several events for special needs people, and that just tears my heart out.
It's rough. But folks, I'm going to show you something right now that is going to show you because we have Michael back this year.
That's right. Back in the game.
I don't even know if Michael knows what I'm about to show you.
I have an idea.
Something right now that tells you exactly why it was such an incredible loss to the Santa community to lose this man as Santa. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out.
Well, hello there. Christmas is almost here. Every year, children all over the world sit on the lap of old Saint Nick to tell me just what they want to see under the tree on Christmas morning. Even if things can't be the same this year, it doesn't mean I can't share some special Christmas magic with you. Visit me online at livesantacalls.com. There you can put yourself on my list, and we'll enjoy a special live video call right here on your screen. I can even read you a special Christmas story. The best part is, you don't have to wait in line to see me. And I can wait until Christmas Eve to use my frequent reindeer mileage. So skip them all, keep the magic, and schedule your special video call with me. Merry Christmas!
And folks,
Yay!
yeah, isn't that beautiful? And that's why we are so lucky to have him back. We started Live Santa Calls. The three of us actually are kind of in partnership on this.
That's right.
And livesantacalls.com. There's two Santas and a Mrs. Claus, and you saw Mrs. Claus actually in the opening segment.
That's right, Jack Ledoux.
And, Jack Ledoux is Mrs. Claus, and we're all grown-ups here. We can say those things. We can talk about it that way. And Mr. and the other Santa is, I don't know who the hell that is, some guy.
Some guy.
It's you, and you're fabulous as well, and you have a video promo at livesantacalls.com.
Yes, you can go down.
I'm the head elf in charge at livesantacalls.com.
That video you just saw was edited by Doug Michael Lucas, and I think probably I'm going to guess that it was written by him as well.
Yeah, well, yes. I write. Yeah, I'm a bit of a writer, and so I wrote that. And I was in the video. You don't really know it, but I was the chair. And Doug is our internet guru and all that stuff, and. Oh dear! Yeah. I just got a message over here on my your command central.
I have so many. I have screens all over the place.
On the bridge, Captain Kirk.
And someone just said, "Joe, guess who just reached out?" And I'm freaking out to know who it might be. But I'm in the middle of a show.
No!
I'm in the middle of a show.
Should we take over while you check?
No. I'm sure she will. I'm sure she can wait for a little bit. Jesus.
Reached out to what?
I don't know.
Someone
to buy.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand.
I've got so many things, got so many irons on the fire right now. But I'm excited about livesantacalls.com. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be really fun. And next week, I get to do a live Santa call with a little buddy of mine named Lachlan, who is a friend of mine's son. And I'm really excited because this kid, just from the videos I've seen of him online, personality plus. So
that's great. Well, you know why I'm excited about Live Santa Calls? It's because so many kids look forward to seeing Santa every Christmas. It's a rite of passage. And there are a lot of kids who have older siblings, and so it's been something that they're like, this is what my big brother or sister gets to do, and I'm old enough now, I get to go see Santa. But you know, COVID-19 has taken away so many wonderful things, and that's just another thing to add to the list.
It is indeed, and I do want everybody to know, and especially you
to
guys,
have a Santa.
Yeah. In December, one Thursday, we are going to do a Santa show.
Yeah, let's do it.
And because I've got Santas. I mean, I have Santa down there. I got Santa up here. I'm going to have a Santa in White Plains, New York.
We have Santa from over there.
We have Santas coming out of our chimney.
We do, and the Santa in White Plains will be in a bubble in a mall, and you actually broadcast to us from that.
That's cool. Well, that's one of the options. Some malls are having a Santa that you can't really get close to, and there are parents who are going to opt for that.
They're in a plexiglass snow globe, kind of.
But, you know, exactly. I think a lot of kids are going to enjoy the personal interaction of a live video visit with Santa.
I believe that because
that's why I'm excited about LiveSantaCalls.com.
And a lot of people think that this is unique, and a lot of people are doing this, but if I may say so, we have got a little something going for us because, first of all, a lot of Santas are not, how shall I put it, actors.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
It's nice to have somebody who can not only play with the kid and actually play off of what the kid says, but it makes a difference. It makes a difference in the entire experience.
Well, and you guys have spent so much time in working for Walt Disney World that you picked up a magical skill of relating to children and sometimes making a bad situation with a child very positive. And that's something not everybody can do, even if you've been Santa for a long time.
That's absolutely true. We're doing a little commercial here, but that's okay.
We're just chatting. I've got a Bloody Mary. Oh, it's in a green cup. Look at that. Oh, it's my invisible drink.
Isn't that?
It's in a lime green cup. I didn't think about that. Michael's is in a blue cup.
I had a green drink a couple of weeks ago and it looked really weird as I was drinking. Now, let's talk a little bit about you guys, because, you know, I got to tell you, Michael, we know you have had a very, very, very varied career, as they say.
Varied. Oh, that's a good
Varied.
word. Varied.
Very varied.
Yes, very varied career. You've of course you've done theme parks, right?
Hmm.
Now, what did you do at Walt Disney World?
I started out at Walt Disney World in the Citizens of Hollywood, basically what's known as Streetmosphere.
Uh-huh.
And I played 2 roles there. I played the head of the Public Works, and which was basically a Jackie Gleason, Rudy the Repairman type of character.
I cannot imagine you as Jackie Gleason.
No,
That's so hard to imagine. I just can't even picture that.
I can't even fathom it myself. And then the other days of the week, I played an opera singer character, a Nelson Eddy type Hollywood star, and I was there for a year. Which and I don't want to be negative about it, but I will. It was probably the worst year of performing of my life. Not that I didn't learn a lot from it, but it was a very difficult. I wasn't good at playing improv games. It wasn't something that I was especially versed in.
Uh-huh.
And then after a while, I managed to kind of start getting into the swing of things, but by then it was a little too late, and they didn't renew my contract.
Well,
And,
yeah, it's not always the way.
That happens all the time out there.
Yeah.
And so I went away from Disney for about 3 years, 4 years at that point. And I came back, and the casting director said, God, where have you been? I've had shows that I would love to put you in. And I'm like, oh, well, great. I didn't audition because I thought once you were done, you were done. But that's not always the case.
Right.
People come and they go.
That's the amazing thing. And I'm guessing the casting director was a Latino gentleman of both our acquaintance.
Nope,
yes?
it was Mike Corcus.
Oh, okay. And well, that's interesting. Because I had the same experience at Universal. I had stopped auditioning because they didn't cast me.
Right.
After the initial run I had with Ghostbusters, they didn't cast me anymore. And I went, okay, fine. And then someone said, well, why aren't you using Joe Zimmer? He doesn't audition. Call me.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. You have to keep like a little baby calf. You have to keep walking up to that teat.
And I guess that's true.
You have to.
Walk up to the teat.
But
The
I
mouse
don't know.
teat.
If you
Merry
say
Christmas, kids.
if you say no to me a number of times, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to say,
Sure.
I get the
It's
hint.
sort of like, if you get invited to a party and you don't go and you just stop going, they stop inviting you, And, so after that, I was asked back, and I was one of the wise men in the Mexico Pavilion, which was, oh God, what a story.
Because they put special shows out for Christmas. And
Don't I know? I did.
Holidays around the world.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't explaining to you, Joe.
So,
For the 7 friends.
At any
of ours
rate,
who
I
are
was
watching.
one of the 3 wise men for the Mexico Pavilion. And so, of course, I will never forget, because I at that point, I had learned how to be improvisationally funny and be somewhat more confident in what I was doing. And there in the manger, which was our set, somebody had left on the edge of the manger on a rail a Starbucks Frappuccino in a cup.
Sure did.
And the lines were, I brought to him gold, frankincense, myrrh, and a Starbucks Frappuccino, I said as I picked it up. And at that point, the 2 guys playing the wise men had their mustaches, which were taped on, just going pop, pop, pop.
Oh, yes.
And I, of course, naturally, I got into a little
And
trouble for that.
the crowd loved it.
The crowd
And
died.
that's where Michael gets into trouble with a company like Disney. A great company like Disney, he gets into a little bit of trouble because when he does improv, it's all about a little bit. It's all about what the guest enjoys. And so is Disney, but they have rules. And Michael doesn't care about the rules as long as the guest enjoys it.
I don't do rules.
And in Street Mo, you get away with that a little bit more. But in a show like this nativity scene, you had people with their eye on you, just.
It's interesting because I'm much the same way.
Yeah. They put me into the Food and Wine Festival, and I played this Italian chocolatier, Gianduia, for the hazelnut chocolates that they used to do, the John Julia chocolates.
Yes.
And so I played that for that series, or that part of the season. And then I get a call saying, we'd like to see you for the Hoop Dee Doo. And I went, oh, okay. And I went out and I auditioned for them, read for them for what felt like the 30th time. And I wound up getting a 3-year contract with the, not 3-year contract, but I was there for 3 years. And
as 6 bits for those familiar with the show,
which was, it's the best part in the show. And you get to be crazy, fun out there, and you get to play because you're a big kid.
Yeah.
And there are no rules when you're playing that role. Other than you can't. Well, there's a few.
There's a few, but for that show, Disney is so thrilled to rake in all the cash that comes from that. They pay less attention to what everybody's doing in it. As long as there are no complaints.
That's I'm sorry actually that's one of the shows I did not download. I couldn't find much from the Disney shows out there, and of course I downloaded photos that I liked without a doubt. Of course, so that and it's cool because Michael, you and I basically worked in the same place, literally across the sea from each other at one point. I was Papa Noel in Canada, and you were over there in
Mexico.
In Mexico at the same time.
Yeah.
And at that time, I don't think we knew each other.
No, we knew each other.
Did we? We did.
Yeah.
But we'd kind of gone in circles, and then finally, where we actually met was at Pirates Dinner Adventure.
We met at Pirates. We met at Pirates in 2000. Pardon me. We met Pirates in 1998 or 99.
Indeed. And Michael, actually, I was kind of, I don't know what the hell I was doing at that point. I was directing and casting the show for a short time there.
Yeah.
And Michael auditioned, and we cast Michael in the show.
Which was the weirdest audition I think I've ever had, because I just had this person looking at my resume and saying, okay, do Jackie Gleason.
Yes.
And so basically I pulled it out, and you were just cackling your ass off, and I thought, okay, well, fine. Well, if I don't get it, at least I've entertained him.
Did you do the I know that you've been watching me?
I know that you've been watching me, and I know that you know that I know that I've been watching you.
Indeed.
And, yeah.
We had so much fun.
Did you do that in the
No,
audition?
I didn't do that.
Oh.
I didn't do the Eddie Murphy.
Man, he probably would have given you a signing bonus of some kind if you had done that bit. The Eddie
we had
Murphy.
so much fun in that 20 minutes of audition that I had to hire him, and then I'm surprised. And 20 odd years later, we're still friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It is.
Now, Doug, let's go over to you for a minute here.
Sure.
Where did you go to school, Doug?
Well, I went to college at Columbus State University in Columbus, Georgia, not Columbus, Ohio, and which is a town in southwestern Georgia, pardon me.
That was way back when Doug looked kind of like this.
Well, this was in a makeup class. We did corrective makeup, so yeah, that's with the aid of a little makeup and a little less body fat, but that's okay.
I'll take it off now.
My professor at the time, Steve Graver, sometimes that assignment I got a good grade on, but I knew how to look at the camera. And I always thought that because he would take a picture, because he couldn't grade you right there in the class. He'd take a picture and then grade that as your assignment, And so he would take a picture of all the students, and I knew how to romance the camera with my eyes, and I would do it because I figured it might bump my grade up if I hadn't done too well on the makeup. And one of them, he said, well, these are the critiques I have for what you did, but I must say the camera loves you, and for that you must die. And it was true. He would subconsciously give me extra points for the way I looked at the camera.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that fun? And Doug, I'm assuming that we know that Michael, of course, does an incredible celebrity impersonator.
He is.
That he does the one and only Dame Edna Everage.
That's right.
And, he's known as Florida's very own. There's him and two gentlemen of my acquaintance.
That's right. There's Joe and Chris.
Yes, and Michael does an incredible job with that. But apparently, and I did not know this until today.
You researched all of this?
Yes, you yourself have a certain past with celebrity impersonation. I did not know that.
Do I?
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
you'll have to refresh my memory.
I will indeed. Apparently, Doug had his Charles. Wait a minute, hang on a second. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Doug apparently has his Charles Nelson Riley face.
That's right. That's right. And that's
Doug
Ruth
is
Buzzy. That's Ruth Buzzy with me. Yeah.
Doug with Charles Nelson Riley.
Well, that's another tiny little story because I was in college and there was a Halloween party. This is in one of the dorm rooms as we were leaving for the party. That picture was taken, and I was going to be Marie Antoinette that year, and I was. But this was a main campus party.
It was apparently a mistake.
Correct. Well, no, I have to tell you, I wasn't going to go to this party because it was on the main campus in the main commissary, and I thought, all these straight people, I'm not going to show up as Marie Antoinette with these idiots, these Georgia idiots, at the party. So I wasn't going to go. Then my friends convinced me to go, and I thought, well, what can I throw on? And much to no one's surprise, who knew me in college, I had the appropriate attire to put together a Charles Nelson Riley outfit in my closet at the time. I have subdued and relaxed my wardrobe since then.
As you can see.
As you can see.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's why I went as Charles Nelson Riley.
You really were Charles Nelson Riley.
That's right.
I was not wrong.
Oh, I'm glad the costume put it over. Yeah.
And then of course, then you met Michael.
I did.
So many, and you became this. And
that's right.
And I stop it. Okay.
Yeah, that suit is so loud you could cry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so pleased by that.
Yeah, so are we. It's really helped with the bills.
All these years, there you are, and what a team you guys make. I mean, understand, folks, these two guys have created quite the little operation, as they say. And
well, I have to say, for those entertainers watching, there's a lot of cost barriers when you try to do something as a freelance performer. There's a lot of cost barriers. There's costuming, there's a wig, there's always a prop, there's a thing, there's a this, there's a that, there's a marketing, there's a promo, there's a video, there's an Instagram. All of that logistical and cost barriers. Well, we're lucky that because Michael's an entertainer and this is a gig economy, we can come up with stuff and do it and combine our talents in a way that is extremely cost effective.
Which is amazing. I mean, truly, and as you say, and this is exactly where I was going, and I wanted you. You're going exactly where I was hoping you would go. I mean, Michael is out. Michael is kind of the front guy. He's out there doing his thing, Yeah. And you, although when you're on stage with him, you do the sound and stuff like the Alibi, but you're very much a part of that show.
Yes. Well, there have been times over the years, like for instance, Michael broke his back once. And coincidentally, I had just booked an 8-city tour of the Dame Edna show, which was quickly approaching. And so he was so hopped up on pain pills for this tour. First of all, for the first of it, his back physically would not hold him up, so he had to carry a cane for the first part of it. And then, but for the entirety of those 8 cities, because I had by that point spent so much time with Dame Edna's comedy, we used an earpiece, and I basically did the show with him as the mouthpiece because he was so he had to take his pain medication to be able to function, and he was no good for comedy, and so I basically just scripted the whole show for him, and we got through it.
But I've seen that, which is pretty cool. So we're talking about a partnership, folks, a true partnership here.
That's a big secret, by the way. Not many people know that. That's an exclusive for you, Joe Zimmer.
This is an exclusive Joe Zimmer show secret. We found out that Michael has about as good a memory as I do anymore.
No, really. Of course, Michael's become a great comedian, and he's a master of Dame Edna's comedy. But man, oh man, I wouldn't try to do what Barry Humphries, the real Dame Edna, does if I was hopped up on pain pills. That's for sure.
I couldn't even conceive. Now, once you guys got together, you created many different.
Oh yeah, that was in the early. We lived in Coral Springs then. Yeah.
Yes, I remember, and there's Michael and Doug at the very beginning of their relationship.
That's right.
They developed after doing the little dual Dame Edna thing there. They did this most amazing act.
Oh yeah, this was not an act. This was Halloween once again.
The Miller sisters.
I'm going to tell you something. These two characters right here. Holy shit. Okay.
Well, that's the Miller sisters. That's Abby Lee Miller, and of course her distant much older sister Ann Miller.
Yes, there's Annie right
for
there.
Halloween. Yeah. That wig was gigantic. I loved wearing it.
I don't doubt it. And then Michael actually left Doug for a short time. It was a damn shame. And wound up with this guy for a little bit. But
no, that's me. That's me, and it's a PSA for the dangers of autoerotic asphyxiation. And I'm lucky my face didn't stick like that.
Oh dear, that hurts. Oh my. But what a wonderful, I mean, seriously, what a wonderful team. I've seen Doug's work on websites and posters.
Sure. I just redid your beard and wig for your Santa Claus costume.
Yes, and wigs, and yes, as a matter of fact, I wish I did. I didn't load a picture of me as Santa.
You're your own worst enemy. You have to be a good agent for yourself, Joe.
I'm a horrible agent for myself. I really am.
People watching this could have seen your picture and
no, there's 10 now. There's 11.
There's 11 now.
And you would have met your fame and fortune
had you
only included your picture.
That's all right, because now that I've supplied you guys with a number of them, I'm going to start taking a percentage. So,
okay. Well, I'll tell you, this show is amazing to me, and it's so popular that NBC and CBS had to both air presidential town halls just to compete with you. I think that's really telling of your power.
Yes, I did not realize. I forgot that was tonight. I think it's a freaking miracle that we have 10 people in the room.
Right. 10 people who are tired of politics.
We have seen, of course, all of these wonderful characters that you guys do, and Doug literally, I think Doug has a great deal of input on the creation of this character in the middle here. Am I correct?
Well, that's my friend Nikki Adams. Yes,
exactly.
Nikki Adams is a legendary drag performer here in South Florida, and she has been a friend of mine for years. We worked together at the Wick Theater in Boca Raton as technicians backstage. We do quick changes and wig changes and all sorts of fun stuff. That's her again. That same woman there, the blonde, is the same woman as Queen Elizabeth. Anyway, she got a phone call one day, and an agent wanted her to be Queen Elizabeth. And we threw it together for that gig. And then I said, Nikki, this kind of turned out good. I think this is might be your next chapter. Because I noticed there weren't many Queen Elizabeth impersonators in the U.S. doing it full time. So we invested a little bit more time and money into the costuming, and away she went. And she, her first gig, which just never happens, her first gig was to throw out the first pitch at a Colorado Rockies baseball game on national television. So, and that was a gig of mucho dinero.
That's pretty good.
Isn't that funny? I put her website up, and 1 month later, an agent called us. And we booked that.
And for those of you looking for website services,
no, that's okay.
I'm going to say it anyway.
I have to tell you, I know how to do a website on a GoDaddy or a Wix template, but I have to tell you, if you're watching this, I know that you're going to be such a pain in the ass that I don't want to do it for you.
Well, there you go. And I'm my worst enemy. Huh? Okay.
Right. No,
I understand that.
I try not to do graphics for a lot of people because it's a very specific medium. People feel a certain kind of way about it. And I'm lucky that I was able to get a job where I can go to work and have a lot of fun. And so I don't rely on freelance income to do that.
Yeah, and besides, folks, this is the guy you get at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. But truly, I have to tell you that people, some very, 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 very great people in this industry have said some really nice things about that website that you did for
That's
live.
funny. Oh, you'll have to tell me about that when we leave. I need my ego boost for the day.
I will indeed. Now, Michael, this young lady right here.
Oh.
That's my mother.
That's your mom. Let's talk about your family a little bit, Michael, because I think that's an interesting part of your life. An interesting, obviously. You were actually you actually have a rather interesting connection to some very famous people in this world, do you not?
Yes, I do. My grandmother, which is my mother's mother, is the nurse that delivered Bill Clinton.
Isn't that wild?
And she also delivered me. She also delivered Mike Huckabee, but she didn't talk about that very much.
Because she dropped him. She dropped him.
I can imagine she did.
Yes, there's me with Mrs. Clinton.
This is
during the 2016 campaign trail, and
that's right, and that's the face of a happy man who thinks he's standing next to the next president.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed. Well, many of us wanted that to happen, but sadly it did not. Sadly, it did not. And Michael, Michael waited a long time for that photograph.
He did.
Yes, I did.
Now, here, don't take that down, Joe.
No. Okay.
That number. What's that number in the middle of this picture?
1988.
That's 1988. That's
my
the year, his senior year, and the year I was born, Joe.
That was, sweet Christ. Well, either that or it's his booking number.
Right. 24601.
So, but that's Michael many moons ago.
Many moons.
31 moons ago.
Indeed. And
almost.
And then we have Michael now, or we have Michael now.
Oh yes, Ursula the Sea Witch.
Or now we're going to come to my favorite photograph, ladies and gentlemen. Or we have Michael. I don't know when this was. I don't know when this was.
This is when I lived in. This is when I lived in Orlando.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and I had just lost like 130 pounds, and I had my hair bleached, and I was, oh, shut up, Doug. And
I laugh at it only because when we first started talking on the internet as friends, and then it turned into a romance. I'm not ashamed to say that now, because hello. But
I should hope not.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's obvious. No, it turned into a romance. He sent me that picture, even though he no longer had the blonde hair and all, and because he thought it would really turn me on. He sent me that picture. I said, "Oh, that's nice. I really don't like blondes." And if you notice, he's wearing an earring. I said, "And I can't stand earrings on men," and that kind of just pricked his balloon.
I can look at that again to see the earring.
Yeah,
I'll be a son of a bitch. He is wearing an earring. Okay, all right.
And it's you know what, I have to tell you, if he had pierced ears when I met him, we would not be sitting here. Because I have an absolute rule against it, and heaven knows how many wonderful things I missed out on. I might be the next Princess of Genovia if I had only went for a guy with an earring.
I honestly don't think you missed out on anything.
You're probably right.
Quite frankly, but I mean, but you did continue on with him, even though he dressed like this sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's Marty Short. Yes, yeah. Michael got another weird call from an agent, and they said Martin Short's coming to town for a corporate gig, and he needs. Do you have a Scotsman's costume? Well, we have access to a lot of costumes because we both work with the lady who owns Costume World.
Were you together at this time?
What's that? Yeah, we were together. And it was our first couple of years together. And the bit was the Scotsman would pick Marty up like a bagpipe, blow into his thumb, and Marty would go, like a bagpipe. It was a very Canadian, very, very dry joke.
Well, let me tell you what
Marty Short until just now.
Right. Let me tell you what transpired.
Well, there's much more to this story, I know.
Yes, I did that show, and then the next night, I went and did a concert of my one-man concert show. And we went home, and we were up very, very late, and I was actually marinating a pork loin for the next night, and I went outside. This is back when I smoked. I went out and had a cigarette, and I felt like somebody threw me against the wall. And that is when I had a massive heart attack. And so very, very, Doug, when I came inside and told Doug that something was wrong.
By that point, he had lost all his color and was green. And so I knew something was really wrong.
So he started force-feeding me aspirin.
While I called an ambulance, which I had never done in my life. I had never had occasion before that to call an ambulance.
Well, most of us never,
And you know what's funny? I remember very specifically, it took me, 30 seconds to dial 9. No. Holding the phone, attempting to dial 911. My eyes would not let me decipher the screen because I was so panicked. It took me 30 seconds to dial 911. Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday.
And so I had the heart attack, and that's when I had to have a triple bypass.
Yeah.
And,
Indeed, I remember. I came down. I recall.
As I
That's right.
remember.
When Michael had his surgery, you were one of a very few
Yep.
people who was able to come and be by his side.
Seeing you in that situation, I don't mind telling you, almost killed me.
Yeah.
It was scary for everybody
It was
concerned.
hard.
Yeah.
And after I left you, I was supposed to come back that night, but I went off and got blasted. I went off
Yeah.
and got blasted with
you know,
And you had a
everybody
good reason to.
everybody handles stress in a different way.
and who did I get blasted with of all people? Ryan Dixon.
Dixon.
Ryan Dixon,
Yeah.
that's right. Your guest of a few weeks ago.
Yes, he was. And what a great guest he was too.
Yeah.
Truly, a sweet kid, sweet guy, a nice guy. Go ahead.
Going back to the getting off the topic of the health situation, which
Yes,
is always,
indeed.
you know,
But that's an interesting time in your life. Let's be honest.
definitely. Back at Disney, just to wrap up that chapter of
Yeah.
my life, was I left the Hoop Dee Doo, which I kind of regretted doing, to go and play Bruce the Shark in Finding Nemo. They were doing the musical of Finding Nemo, and I just thought, how cool would it be to originate a role in a new show for Disney? Wouldn't that be great? And I did the audition where I played Dame Edna, because most people don't realize Dame Edna was also the voice of Bruce the Shark in the film, Barry Humphries. And so I did a improv little monologue where I was Dame Edna standing in an aquarium interviewing Bruce the Shark on a microphone, and then after I finished the little monologue, I broke into Feed Me from Little Shop. And of course, I was thrilled to find out that they wanted me, and I wound up with the role, and I stayed there for 7 months before I had to leave Disney. I couldn't do it. It nearly killed me.
Politics.
I understand. I get it. I spent my time out there as well. And you know what? And frankly, I don't regret a single bit of it.
No.
And and you have a partner who spent many years at Disney, so you know many stories and many issues of employment. Yeah.
And I did much the same thing that he did for some time. You know, I think I'm one of the few people who came out of character. I didn't know. I went into doing characters because it was an interesting idea to me. The whole concept of being in that character costume, and having you have nothing to. All you have is that costume
and the movement.
Right.
And to find that, the interesting thing that you might not believe, folks, is when you are in that goofy or whatever the case may be, or in my case, Brayer Bear frequently because I was a big fat guy. You may not believe this, but if you are smiling inside of that thing and having a good time, it comes through. If you are not, conversely, if you are, it also comes through.
Yep.
I had a ball doing that. It was horribly hot and all that stuff, but I had a great deal of fun, and I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot.
Right.
Sure.
Doing that. So working in the theme parks, you learn a great deal. And God bless, and I want to say this right out, God bless every one of you out there who does theme park work.
Yes, and everyone who unfortunately whose job has become a casualty of COVID-19.
It sucks. It sucks. Yeah. God bless you guys. I love every one of you. You know, you're all my family. You are. And whether I know you or not, you're my friends.
That's right.
That industry gave me a great deal. And I think Michael would say the same thing.
Yeah.
I truly do.
By all means. In between those times when I was in and out of Disney, I was at Sleuths, the murder mystery dinner theater.
Yes.
As well as Pirates with you. But I was at Sleuths, and Sleuths taught me how to be on my toes and improvise.
And it also gave you the freedom to make mistakes where you don't really get that at Disney.
No.
And Sleuths is a more loosey-goosey operation, you know.
You know, it's fascinating because about a couple of weeks ago, I had a gentleman on by the name of Harrison Carroll, and Harrison is a magician, and Harrison did a lot of trade shows for different companies. And Harrison said the exact same thing about a place called the Forks Hotel in Buffalo, New York, which was a place where magicians went and did their thing and did their close-up magic. I was one of them for a time, which was pretty cool. And Harrison said about the Forks, it was a place you could go and you could be bad.
Right.
You found your You found your
every performing artist needs that. Yeah.
Yes, indeed, and I think people need to understand that. And you've got to have you've got to be bad before you can be good.
Absolutely.
Okay. There's no way you can get around that. There's no way. And I wish more people would understand that.
Well, even people like Joan Rivers were known to go to small comedy clubs and try out new stuff. It never ends. You have to keep doing that.
Streisand used to go into the clubs.
I got a piece of advice from an actress at Disney one time that I didn't want to hear it, but it absolutely is true. She said, "You're only as good as your last performance."
Oh my God! Yes.
And
yes.
I don't know if that's true at a park.
That's what I'm saying. Is that you're only as good as your last set.
I just want you to know, I am so.
I never understood what that meant. Truly.
What?
No, I get it. I get it, because you're only as good as the last thing you did. And the reason being, the last people you saw if you stunk, that's what they're going to remember.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess it just seems to me at a park, the reset is much quicker. You know what I mean? It's not like you're in a Broadway show and you bombed on the night the New York Times Reviewer was
But you always have a chance to be better the next 30 minutes you go on set.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Whereas if the New York Times Reviewer sees you and you suck, you're pretty much screwed for the rest of the run.
Pretty much.
Right.
Or not, as they say. Which brings us to what, ladies and gentlemen? Let's talk about what Michael did at the. I forgot where you did it, Michael.
Paper Mill Playhouse?
Paper Mill Playhouse. It had to do with this fellow right here, and it was called The Honeymooners Musical.
Yep.
That's right.
Which I know was quite the thing for you, because
it was the culmination of a very long time impersonating Jackie Gleason.
Yes, I was, and in all honesty, I'm pleased to say I was kind of right there with him for a lot of it. At a distance, of course, because you were in Lauderdale, I was in Orlando, but we kind of made things happen. And I'm very pleased with that. Michael, tell us about auditioning for that real quick.
I had a friend of mine message me on Facebook and said, they're auditioning a Honeymooners musical. And I said, they're what? And of course, I had heard nothing about it. And I just said, well, I'd love to go up and audition for it. But I didn't know anybody, and I hate to say it, but in the American theater, it's who you know.
Yeah. And so he had a lot of self-doubt when he heard they were doing that audition. Yeah. And for a moment he thought, do you think it's worth it to go? He wasn't going to go. And I said, Michael, you have to go. And the breakdown was for Jackie Gleason. In the show, Jackie Gleason and Ralph Cramden are two separate real people. And they'd already cast the Tony Award winner Michael McGraw as Ralph Cramden, but the role of Jackie Gleason was open. And the breakdown said
they wanted an impersonator for
it said a Jackie Gleason impersonator who sings. Well, hello, right here, a Jackie Gleason impersonator who sings. So I said you have to go, but he was still honestly had some self-doubt of whether the doors of Broadway would open to him at all. And so
what I decided to do was...
you were listening to the radio one day.
I was listening to the radio one day, and Andre DeShields, who just won the Tony for
Hadestown.
Not Urinetown.
Oh, at the time he had won it for
Hadestown.
Hadestown, yeah, he just won for it, yeah.
But he had won it for Ain't Misbehavin'. He'd been around for a while. And Andre DeShields said on this interview with Julie James on Sirius, he said, claim the blessings that are yours. He said, don't claim anyone else's blessings. Claim ones that are yours. And I thought, okay, well, that's a pretty good kick in the ass. That's the good side. And so Mrs. Wick, who is the owner of Costume World, she fronted me the money to fly to New York same day, go in the morning, come back in the evening. And I contacted every person I knew, everyone I had met and was around for, and said, I really would like to be seen for this, but I don't know,
Right.
how to do this.
So all these people sent letters to Bernie Telsey Casting saying, you have to give this guy an appointment, blah, blah, blah. Well, they did. They said, if he can get his way up here, we'll give him an appointment.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know what to expect.
Well, actually, the person that was responsible for it more so than anybody else was John Tracy Egan, who is a wonderful, wonderful actor. He was the last Max Bialystock in The Producers on Broadway. He's been in everything. I mean,
That's
he's just
true.
a wonderful
Yes,
talent.
he brings up a good point.
John played the role in the very first reading of the show.
But they were recasting it
They were recasting it at that time. And John said to me, we were talking on Facebook, he said, Michael, you have to be seen for this. He said, it's your part. He said, it is you. And he said, I honestly, I would love to do it, but he said, it's you. He said, you deserve to be seen for this. And he even made a call to Jerry Mitchell, who was the director at the time, and I flew to New York one day, dressed basically...
You really had to be seen for this.
Yes, and basically dressed in that same outfit, and minus the carnation. I didn't want to gild the lily. And, and I go in, and I read for them, I sang for them, I took some direction, and I thank them very much for allowing me the opportunity to come up and be seen. They thanked me very much, and they said, well, when are you going back to Florida? And I said, this afternoon. And, oh, okay, all right, well, thank you very much. And I thought, well, that's it. I'm done. And I walked out into the lobby and was going to go to the restroom and change my clothes back to my street clothes.
Can I interject something here real quick? Understand, folks, while what he is describing is happening, I am working at Titanic The Experience here in Orlando, Florida, and I am at the front desk, and it's very slow, and I am getting play-by-play on this through text from Michael. Do you remember that, Michael? You were telling me.
Yeah, I vaguely remember texting. I mean, it was all such a blur from that day.
You were telling me everything was going on, and I am getting more and more excited as this is happening. Literally as this is happening. Go ahead.
So I was getting ready to leave, go change in their restroom, and all of a sudden one of the casting associates came out and said, do you have to leave right now? And I said, no, I don't. And they said, we'd like you to read a couple of other things. And they handed me the sides for Ralph Cramden. And I was like, oh, okay. And they said, we really would like to hear you read these. And they said, would you like to take a few minutes? And I was just thumbing through the pages, and I thought, oh, I know every bit of this. I know exactly what this is.
A lot of the script is bits from the Honeymooners.
Was stuff that was either Honeymooners adjacent or
adapted
from the scripts.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how much time do you need? And I said, no, I'm ready to go now. And I went in and I read the scenes for them 2 or 3 times in different ways. And they said, gee, Michael, thank you very much for coming in. We really appreciate it. And I felt good about it when I left. I left.
I know you did.
I went back to the airport that afternoon. I just basically sat on my ass in the airport, and I decided that unlike what I usually do to myself, I was going to put it completely out of my head. I was not going to think about it. I was not going to talk about it to anybody. I was going to tell them the story that this is what happened. Enough. You know, if this is all that happens, at least I got seen by these people, you know?
Yeah.
And so one afternoon, about probably 3-4 weeks later, I'm going to buy gas at the corner store up here.
We're both in the car.
We're both in the car. Yeah, we're both in the car.
I happen to remember this moment as well because I heard about it almost immediately.
Yeah, we called you right away.
I'm in line to pay for the gas, and my phone rings, and I see on the caller ID Telsey Casting.
Oh,
and I thought,
God.
Oh, that moment where I call it the diarrhea moment,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh my God. And so I answered the phone, and they said, we would like to offer you the role of Jackie Gleason in the readings of The Honeymooners. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. They said, we'll be in touch, and da-da-da-da. And I got off the phone, and I stood there in line and just burst into tears.
Yeah. So how many readings did they do?
We did, before we got to Paper Mill, we did 5 readings.
So 5 readings later, it was finally opening night at Paper Mill.
Now, what's really cool about this, folks, I got to tell you, what's really cool about this, on each one of those readings when he went up to New York, I was like a fly on the wall on Facebook, on the internet. I got to hear what was going on. He was telling me. I was so fucking excited. Excuse my language. But I was so excited for him.
Part of the fun of it was, I was getting to work with all of these people. I was working with Hank Azaria from The Simpsons and The Birdcage, was the original Ed Norton that was cast. And Hank was marvelous. He was just truly marvelous. And Michael McGraw and I became very good friends.
And Michael McGraw stayed through the whole production, through closing night at Paper Mill. For a time, the great Megan Hilty was cast as Trixie Norton, who later later cast was Laura Bell Bundy in the same role. So those are 2 great people to work with.
Oh, amazing! Then
there was Michael's now good friend. Her name just went out of my head. Leslie Kritzer. Leslie Kritzer as Alice. So it was really a cool chance for him to work with some real top people on Broadway.
Heavy hitters, some really, really great people.
And to this day, and I have to tell you, to this day, I regret that I was not able to come up there.
I was only able to go up for opening night.
It wasn't an easy trip, believe me.
Yeah. But I pray and I hope that someday I'll be able to see this.
Who knows? With Broadway being in such flux, you never know.
Things are where they are. Things are where they are right now.
But I will tell you, one of the most amazing things about the whole process of reading, the 3rd time we did it, when we were close enough to where they got investors in to look at it, we were told, just whispered to, from some of the creatives, that Joyce Randolph, who was the only surviving member of the cast, was coming to the reading. And Leslie Kritzer and I are jumping up and down like little kids going, oh my God, I can't believe she's coming. We can't believe it. And we didn't want to bother her or talk to her unless we were invited to. And so
that would basically be this lady right here.
Yep, that's her.
That's right.
That is on opening night at the opening night party
at Paper Mill.
And
how incredible that must have been for you, Michael.
93 years old now.
What did she say to you, Michael?
It was so interesting because she said to me in the reading, she said, you brought back a lot of memories, a lot of wonderful memories. And then she said, he really was a dreadful man.
Oh dear.
Well, that doesn't surprise me one little bit.
No. She said he really could be a dreadful man, and which I thought was hilarious because we all know. But the most interesting thing that happened during the course of that, after opening night.
It makes me laugh really hard.
After opening night, I was Michael's understudy, and
that's right. As part of the deal, Michael he played Jackie Gleason,
which would make complete sense.
And he was the understudy for the Ralph Cramden character, which is a larger character in the script.
And so, at any rate, we had our opening night, and Michael, God bless him, he worked so hard to get the show on its feet. He blew his voice out.
Or he had some illness in his throat.
Something happened.
Yeah.
And it is Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. And of the day, we were just going back to doing the shows, the regular run. And
this is after the opening week, which a lot of performers will know is a modified schedule.
And so we're back to our regular scheduled performances. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, my phone rings, and it's our stage manager. Michael, you were going on today. And I was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe it, because even though I knew, let's put it this way, as Doug likes to say, I was familiar with the script.
You knew of the script.
I knew of the script.
You weren't expecting it.
No, I had not been rehearsed at all.
He had no rehearsal.
I am curious, did the words hamna, hamna, hamna come out of your mouth?
Cross my mouth, hama, 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 and plus a few expletives. And they said, we'll have the dance captain and somebody else over at the theater as soon as possible. How long do you need to get ready? And I said, can I be there at 7? And they said, sure. And so I went and showered, shaved, started running through the songs and running through the lyrics as much as I could remember them, and trying to remember what choreography I could in the shower. And so it turns out that I wound up rehearsing all the way until they had opened the house doors. They were letting the audience in when they finally cleared the stage. And that was 1:30. I've been going since 7 in the morning, and I felt like Peggy Sawyer in 42nd Street, where I was having the part, everything beat
because a lot
into
of the show, both the script and score and the physical blocking and choreography were all being altered and perfected at that time.
Yeah.
And so
things were changing.
Right. So for an understudy who's supposed to learn the show, there was only so much show he could learn that they weren't changing, And so that was scary. That was scary. And he was, as an equity actor, he had the option not to go on, since they had not given him a put-in rehearsal. So he had the option not to go on per his contract, but he thought, I can't let the production down.
Away.
And send a full house away. And then B, it was a massive opportunity.
And
where
I
else
looked at it this way: if I'm going to go on, I can either be the villain or the hero.
Sure, but I'm going to tell you right now, in my most humble of opinions, for what it's worth, I can't think of anybody. I can't think of a single person that I would trust in the situation you were put in, other than you.
Well, that's nice of you to say.
And he had to put a lot of trust into his co-stars, who really guided him through the show. We've all been there.
I'm sure at some points they were shoving him around.
They were. They call it shove with love. And
one of the stage managers backstage was specifically assigned to put him where he needed to be and remind him of things as he went off stage.
That's right. Mark Alderman was there.
That's right. Yeah, Mark is a good friend of ours for many years, and he was lucky enough. His tickets to see Michael in the show were for one of the nights that he played the lead.
Actually, they found out I was going on, and they drove from Washington.
Oh, that's right. They live in Washington. That's right. And they drove up. Yeah, I don't live as close, so I couldn't go. Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now. Now, I guess I knew you were going. I'm sure I did at that time. I'm sure you told me. Fuck, I'm going in.
I will tell you the weird thing that happened. At least the thing that I remember more than anything else was finishing that first performance. And of course, they told me, they said, you did a fine job, but you cut 10 minutes off the show. Oh, shit.
Because he skipped so many lines.
I skipped lines and it was fine. I cut 10 minutes off the show. And so they said, we want you to take a lunch break and go back, and we're going to go back through and start rehearsing.
They basically didn't let him stop rehearsing until after he had finished his final performance in the role.
So we're going to fix it. Yeah.
So,
did they fix it? Did you get it? Did you get there?
Yeah, I got there. I was, it took a while. But
I mean, on a big show like that, on a gigantic, basically Broadway scale production, there are at least 6 or 7 people whose part of their job is to make sure the show is precisely what the director and the writers mean it to be.
Sure.
So you can't just go out there and fuck up some stuff and make it work. Well, you can, but then when you come off, there are people who are specifically getting paid to enforce the script and the direction, So you have to keep rehearsing if you got it wrong.
The thing that happened was that when I finished that first matinee and the curtain came down, I literally took 3 steps and I just burst into tears. I was just sobbing because it was a release like you wouldn't believe. I could not get past the fact that I did it because, given the stuff with my heart and my lungs and all the problems that I had had with my health for the past year and a half, I was surprised I was alive to do it.
And since they cast him, he had had gastric sleeve surgery. He'd had a major lung infection, so it was actually quite a process through these 5 readings they did. So to finally get to the finish line where he was in, great shape and was able to do the role and had the stamina, it was quite an achievement for him.
And so I kept rehearsing and got through it. But the second performance I did was that night, and as I was leaving to go back across the street to the company housing where I was staying, this gentleman stops me outside the theater, tall, nice, good-looking, gray-haired man, probably in his late 50s, early 60s, and he introduces himself as Craig Horwich, and I stop and I say, "You're Jackie's stepson."
Oh my God!
And he is now the head of the Gleason estate.
I've never heard
he
the story.
said, "And you are the young man from Florida that my aunt adored," and he was talking about June Taylor. And so I was like, "Yes, I guess that's me." And so that kind of connected me again with the estate. And I don't even know where it is right now, but he sent me a gift, one of Jackie's ashtrays from Toots Shores that was on the bar, and he sent me this lovely porcelain ashtray
and a set of
gift.
Coasters from Toots Shore. Yeah, what a great gift that was. We still have it on the shelf here. I know, right? And another great guy also who, when you do a big high-profile show like this, everybody who was connected with the original show wants to come see it. So they also met Art Carney's
son, which you showed a picture of him.
Did Art Carney's? Yeah, that was the picture.
And Art Carney carries a brown train case.
Brian.
Yeah, Brian. Art Carney's son, Brian, carries a brown train case, inside of which is the one and only hat that Art Carney ever wore to play the role.
He never had another
He likes
hat.
to take it around with him to events and stuff.
If you want to try it on, he'll let you try it on. He's got no qualms about it.
And it's actually a corduroy hat. It's not a felt fedora like a lot of people would think. It's a corduroy hat.
Yeah.
And it's the only one that he ever wore.
In my dressing room at the Diamond Horseshoe, when I was doing the Diamond Horseshoe show, as you walked into the room, I made it my own room, obviously. I was there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And in my dressing room, as you walked into the room, right here was a picture of Art. Ed in the sewer.
Oh, he's got to be a big inspiration to you, Joe. Yeah.
Well, I learned my timing. I learned timing from George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Yep.
Art Carney, Jackie Gleason. I mean,
right. Well, so did every other writer in Hollywood. Every sitcom is either The Honeymooners or Gilligan's Island. Those two structures are the basis for every other sitcom that has ever aired. If you think about characters, the type of show where the characters want something and they can never get it, whether it's a single guy who can never get a lasting relationship, that's the Gilligan's Island, And then you have your of course, King of Queens is the most famous show that is a definite ripoff of The Honeymooners,
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's amazing what everything goes back to square one.
Yes.
Everything goes back to I Love Lucy
yes.
and The Honeymooners. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Okay. And in one way or another. Okay.
Yep.
And that's where
well, fewer shows. See, that's why I say Gilligan's Island. Fewer shows are a takeoff of I Love Lucy because everybody's afraid to give a woman that much power on a show.
Yeah.
Oh, I give her everything. I give her everything.
Well, sure, but so few sitcoms have done that, have given the female character such power.
Not like yourselves, I adore
the Golden Girls, which it became a revolutionary show after the golden age of television, only because it didn't directly rip off one of the original 3 shows, And that's Michael and I doing Dorothy and Sophia in our short-lived recent series of Golden Girls shows that we did.
And a lot of people ask us why we stopped doing it. And basically, we've learned one thing, that as the pandemic has moved forward, initially people were watching these online shows hand over fist.
Because there was not a lot else to do. when we were all locked in our homes, and
I'm going to be very honest with you. I do this for a number of reasons. One of the main reasons is for me. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
We get 10, 20 people a night, whatever.
It's fun.
I want people to have some fun. But here is probably what I consider the understatement of the evening. Right here, guys.
Oh,
you see that?
Hello, Ryan.
That's very nice. Thank you, Ryan.
And thank you for voting blue.
And I truly believe that is one of the
he was talking about you too, and it is indeed.
I don't know if he's talking about me or not. I don't care if he is. Bottom line, I admire, and we're at that point, guys. We really are at that point. I admire the both of you incredibly.
Well, you have very good taste.
Yes, indeed. You are truly, you are dear friends. You are dear friends that I cherish.
We cherish you as well.
Amazing. I cherish so much. And I know now my other dear friend, Jack Ledoux, also cherishes.
Yeah, well, it was nice to get to know her the other day. Yeah.
We spent an incredible afternoon working on wigs and beards and wigs.
And making videos and all sorts of fun stuff.
And it was amazing what you did with Jack's beard.
Yeah.
Jack's beard.
Isn't that you?
Yeah, there you go. Jack is not one of no.
No, she's an ally of the LGBTQIA community.
And she is a dear person. And I am so fortunate, and I want you guys to know, and I don't mind saying this out loud in front of the entire world.
You're gay.
I cherish your friend. I'm gay. I cherish your friendship. I know that Christopher. When Christopher's,
we miss you too, Mark.
His password thing is if you got to ask a question, his secret question is.
His secret question.
Who's your favorite singer? Who do you suppose Christopher put as his favorite singer?
Chris Christopherson.
This guy right here.
Michael Walters.
Oh,
yes.
Well, that's nice.
I'm going to tell you something that is true for me as well.
Yes.
You son of a bitch! You communist bastard.
You communist.
Just
to give you some context of that, the other day, the Joe, when we were doing the Santa Claus stuff, I glued his fake eyebrows down, but at the same time got the adhesive in his eyebrow itself. And when he removed it, he took out part of his eyebrows. And he said, "Michael, you communist bastard."
Yeah.
It's a fact. And I meant every word of it. So I feel very fortunate to have you guys as friends. I hope that everybody who watched the show tonight feels fortunate to hear the stories and what these guys have done. And I'm going to tell you something. We are going to hear more from these two fellas right here. We're going to hear a lot more from
God willing, and the creek don't rise.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I just want to, as a motivational moment, if you follow in our footsteps, you can make absolutely no money as well.
Absolutely positive.
Just to give you a ray of hope, viewers.
You can reach our level of mediocrity just like that.
You can be just as fucked as I am. I am sitting in a shed in my backyard, okay?
But that's the life. At least you have a backyard.
I have a backyard, and you know what? As of this moment today,
it's paid for.
This son of a bitch again.
You paid it off. Good for you.
And that's pretty damn cool.
Good for you.
Dad. Thanks, Dad. Thanks.
God bless our parents.
I love every one of you people out there. Thank you, Michael and Doug, for such a wonderful evening. I hope everybody enjoyed. Thank you, boys.
Yes, and thank you, Joe, for being a friend.
Awesome. I love you. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Walters and Doug Lucas. We're so lucky to have people like that in this world. Last but not least, as always, I want to say it. Don't forget tomorrow morning. We miss you too, Mark. Tomorrow morning, 11. I want to. 11:30 until 1 o'clock, I believe it is. Plaza Live. Please come down, kids. Artists helping artists. Come on down. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there tomorrow morning. And I'm excited about being there tomorrow morning. And I'll be there throughout until 1 o'clock. I love each and every one of you. Come get that recognition. I know it's rough. It's going to get better, damn it. It's going to. I love you. Remember, look for the helpers. They're out there. They're helping. Trust me. I know this. When you find them, you join them. Because ain't nothing better. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye. So long.